The Unbreakable Dream. In the heart of a bustling city, where skyscrapers touched the sky and the streets buzzed with endless energy, lived a young woman named Maya. She was an artist at heart, her soul captivated by colors and shapes, by the stories that could be told through a simple stroke of a brush. But life in the city was unforgiving, and Maya found herself struggling to make ends meet. She lived in a tiny apartment on the outskirts of town, where the walls were thin and the noise of the city never ceased. Every day, she worked long hours at a local cafe, serving customers with a smile, while her heart ached to be somewhere else. Somewhere where she could create, where she could paint the visions that danced in her mind. But the world didn't seem to care about her dreams. Art supplies were expensive, and the little money she earned barely covered her rent and food. There were days when she wondered if it was all worth it, if she should just give up her dream and accept that life was about survival, not passion. One day, as Maya was cleaning tables in the cafe, an old man walked in. He was a regular, always sitting in the corner with a cup of tea and a book. But today, he looked different, more thoughtful, more observant. As Maya approached to take his order, he looked up at her and said, "You seem troubled, young lady. What's on your mind?" Maya hesitated. She didn't know this man, yet something about him made her want to open up. "I'm just tired," she said finally. "Tired of working so hard for something that seems so far out of reach." The old man nodded as if he understood. "And what is it that you're reaching for?" he asked. "My art," Maya replied, her voice barely a whisper. "I want to be an artist, but it feels impossible. No one cares about art when you're poor. No one believes in your dreams." The old man's eyes softened with kindness. "Let me tell you a story," he said. "There was once a young sculptor who lived in a village far from here. He had a dream of creating the most beautiful statue the world had ever seen. But like you, he was poor. He had no money to buy the finest marble, no tools to carve his vision into reality. Yet every day, he would go to the mountains and search for stones, believing that one day he would find the perfect piece to sculpt." Maya listened intently, curious about where the story was going. For years, the young sculptor searched, the old man continued. People laughed at him, called him a fool for chasing such an impossible dream, but he never gave up. One day, after years of searching, he found a stone that seemed different from the rest. It was rough and unpolished, but he saw potential in it. He took it home and began to carve. Day after day, he worked on that stone, chipping away at it, giving it shape and form. It was hard work, and there were times when he doubted himself, when he wanted to quit, but he didn't. Maya leaned forward, completely absorbed in the tale. After many months of labor, the young sculptor finally finished his work, the old man said. What he had created was a masterpiece, a statue so breathtaking that it left everyone who saw it in awe. The villagers who once mocked him now admired him. His name spread far and wide, and soon people from distant lands came to see his work, offering him wealth and fame. But the young sculptor was not driven by the money or the recognition. He was driven by his love for his craft, by the dream that he had nurtured despite all the obstacles. The old man paused, his gaze steady on Maya. "You see, young lady, the world may not believe in your dreams, but that doesn't mean they're impossible. The true test of your passion is not in the ease of your journey, but in your willingness to keep going, even when the path seems impossible." Maya felt a warmth spread through her chest. The old man's words resonated with her deeply. She realized that she had been measuring her success by the world's standards, by the money she didn't have, and the opportunities she couldn't see. But true success, she now understood, was in the perseverance, in the refusal to let go of the dream that made her heart beat with purpose. "Thank you," Maya said, her voice filled with newfound resolve. "I won't give up." The old man smiled, his eyes twinkling. "Good," he said, "because the world needs artists like you, people who see the beauty in the struggle, who turn their dreams into reality, no matter how difficult the journey." From that day on, Maya approached her life with a renewed spirit. She continued to work at the cafe, but now she saved every penny she could, buying small amounts of paint and canvas whenever she had the chance. She spent her nights painting, pouring her soul into her work, even when exhaustion weighed heavily on her. Months passed, and slowly, her small apartment began to fill with her creations. One day, she decided to share her work with the world. She started by displaying her paintings in the cafe where she worked. To her surprise, customers began to take notice. They asked about her art, and soon, word spread about the talented young artist in the corner of the city. It wasn't long before a local gallery owner visited the cafe and offered Maya a chance to showcase her work in a real exhibition. The night of the exhibition, Maya's paintings captivated everyone who saw them. Her unique style, born out of struggle and determination, spoke to people's hearts. She sold every piece that night, and for the first time in her life, she felt the weight of poverty lift from her shoulders. But more than the money or the recognition, what mattered most to Maya was that she had stayed true to her dream. She had proven to herself that no matter how difficult the journey, she could achieve what she set her heart on. And in doing so, she had not only changed her own life, but had also inspired others to pursue their dreams, no matter how impossible they might seem. Maya's journey was far from over, but she knew one thing for certain. She would never be poor again, not in spirit, not in determination, and not in the richness of her dreams.